You want the kind of story that grabs you by the collar right out of the gate. All right, picture this. I'm standing on the porch of my own dream house, a historic old Victorian, still in my best suit from a museum gala, feeling like I finally made it after 15 years of grinding. The sun's setting air's got that crisp bite, and I'm soaking in the moment when suddenly out of nowhere this beige minivan creeps up the street like it's the ice cream truck from hell. And out step these two women, identical twins, both in blindingly loud tracksuits, one hot pink, one radioactive lime green. I'm not kidding, they looked like they were about to run a 5K and a reality show at the same time. The pink one stomps up my new stone walkway like she owns the place, her sister right behind, arms crossed, giving me this smug little grin like she knows something I don't. Before I can even say hello, Pink launches right in, no introduction, just pure accusation. So you're the one who bought it. Not a question. It's like I stole the crown jewels. I'm still thinking maybe they're with the HOA or the local welcome committee, but the way she's eyeballing my house, I know I'm in for something special. She tells me straight-faced that I'm just a temporary occupant, that this house is her family's birthright because her great-great-grandfather built it back in 1892. My sister Sharon will be taking the master bedroom, she declares, jerking her thumb at green, as is her right as a direct descendant. You'll take a smaller room and be grateful you get to right a historical wrong. Refuse and we'll have you thrown out on the street like the squatter you are. I swear I actually looked around for cameras. Surely this was some prank show. But no, they're dead serious. And when I finally gather my wits and tell them to leave, Pink whips out her phone and starts dialing 911, shouting that I'm assaulting them and trespassing on their ancestral land. Yeah, that happened. So 5 minutes after my peaceful evening began, now I've got the whole neighborhood watching as the cops pull up, sirens flashing on my brand new house, just in time to catch a full Karen meltdown. She's sobbing to the dispatcher about aggressive men and stolen family homes while her sister clutches her arm like I dislocated it, although I haven't been within 5 feet of either one. The cops, one grizzled veteran, Officer Miller, and a rookie, take it all in with this world-weary patience. Miller listens to their story, then turns to me, and I calmly lay out the facts. My name is Michael. I bought this house 3 weeks ago. I've got the deed, title, mortgage, everything. The twins. No paperwork, just the sacred word of our ancestors. You ever see someone realize their entire reality isn't going to fly outside their own head? That's what happened when Officer Miller tells them flat out, this man owns the house. You're trespassing. Get in your van and leave now. Karen looks ready to explode, promises me this isn't over, and they peel away, leaving nothing but a cloud of exhaust and the worst kind of vibes. Miller just shakes his head, apologizes, and tells me some people live in their own little world. He wasn't wrong, but I could feel it. This was only the opening act. Next thing I know, the real campaign begins. Every morning, the twins drive by my house with their minivan windows down, blasting the worst rap music you've ever heard, just slow enough to rattle my antique window panes. Then come the pizza deliveries. I never ordered a truckload of gravel almost dumped on my lawn. Trash cans tipped rotten fish guts on my porch. Neighbors starting to look at me like I'm the problem. Turns out Karen's on the HOA's architectural committee, and wouldn't you know it, my mailbox violates some ancient bylaw. It's not forest green. That's a $50 fine and 7 days to comply. So there I am, painting my mailbox green, while Sharon points and laughs from their slow-rolling minivan. That's when it hits me. Complying won't end this. It feeds them. But it's the forged will that really takes the cake. They show up one day waving a massive gold-framed last will and testament for some ancestor named Jedediah, who supposedly decreed that the house shall forever remain in the possession of my direct bloodline. It's a terrible fake, and I dismantle it on the spot. Wrong parchment, modern ink, handwriting mistakes. And oh yeah, the real builder's name was Jacob, not Jedediah. I even know from my own archival research that Jacob had no descendants. The twins storm off humiliated, but now the petty stuff stops. For a week, nothing. The silence is worse than the noise. As an archivist, a puzzle like this is irresistible. So I dive back into city records, looking up Jedediah Smith. Turns out he wasn't the owner, he was the gardener living in a shack at the edge of the property, eventually fired for theft. I find an old news clipping, Gardner dismissed amid accusations of theft, and it's damning. So the entire family legend just a lie to cover up a century-old crime. But when I confront the twins, with the evidence, thinking maybe the truth will finally end it, they just double down. Karen tells me, "We don't care about the truth. We care about that house." And Sharon stone-cold promises, "You're gonna pay for this." Yeah, real movie villain stuff. Not long after my car gets vandalized, window smashed, thief spray painted down the side. Thanks to the new cameras I installed, I catch Karen and Sharon in the act. The cops come evidence in hand, and icing on the cake, find a flamingo-shaped earring that matches the flock of plastic pink flamingos on Karen's front lawn. Their arrested neighbors gawking, the whole block buzzing. But victory is short-lived. The next day the twins are out on bail, and now they're playing hardball. Turns out they're loaded, married into money, and their lawyer, Mr. Vance, is the legal world's answer to a wrecking ball. They hit me with a lawsuit, defamation, invasion of privacy, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Mr. Vance tries to bury me in paperwork, challenge my credentials, twist the security footage, even spin the archival records as yellow journalism. It's a siege, legal bills piling up my house, turning from a sanctuary into a war zone. But then a lucky break. My lawyer, Ms. Davenport, finds a ledger entry in the Vance family's own records, $500 paid to Jedediah for your silence. Turns out the real story is even messier. Jedediah wasn't just a fired thief. He was bribed by Arthur Vance, the lawyer's own ancestor, to lie about Jacob, ruining Jacob's reputation and fortune in a timberland bidding war. Jacob took the fall, and the Vances got rich. It's a scandal that's been buried for 100 years. We save this bombshell for the pre-trial hearing. The prosecutor drops it on the court ledger affidavit, the whole conspiracy laid out. The judge calls a recess, and you can practically feel a century of lies collapsing in the hallway outside. The twins fold. They plead guilty, drop their lawsuit, pay restitution, and here's the kicker, are forced to fund a $5 million charitable trust, the Jacob and Jedediah Fund for Historical Honesty, administered by the museum. Their public apology runs as a full-page ad, laying bare their entire scheme and their ancestors' role in a century-old fraud. Suddenly, I'm not just an archivist, I'm the head of a foundation, running community projects, restoring historic sites, giving scholarships. The house that nearly drove me crazy becomes a beacon of reconciliation, a real-life monument to truth and honor. And the irony. In trying to steal a home built on integrity, the twins ended up funding a legacy that'll outlast every grudge, every lie. The story could have ended there, but life's got a way of dropping one last twist. A year later, I find a hidden tin box in the attic, a time capsule from Jacob's wife packed with letters, journals, and a confession that Jacob had discovered. The bribe chose mercy over vengeance and quietly planted the real endgame, a trust tied to a worthless plot of land, now the most valuable real estate downtown. The trust, activated by clearing Jacob's name, turns the museum into the most heavily endowed historical society in the country. And with it, I helped launch a national movement, the 1898 Foundation, dedicated to setting the record straight for forgotten stories everywhere. So here I am in a house built by a man who was wronged, living proof that sometimes the quietest acts of honor can echo for 100 years, rewriting wrongs long after the villains have faded away. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, how many of us are living in houses built on stories we never really knew? And if you ever had to fight for your piece of history, what would you do when the ghost came knocking at your door? Go ahead, tell me what you think justice looks like. I'll be reading.